Another tough day at work today. Steve and Kirk think I suck. Throw back a few wobbly pops, feeling down on my luck. And the interns ruin every show. But it's still where we wanna go. It's Mike and the Minifans. 'Cause nobody had any better plans. You wanna be with DC and our aim in a hand. The host can't see it's Mike and the Minifans. And nobody's seen real MHB. This whole thing is a sham. You never see him pee, it's Mike and the Minifans.
Well, hello everybody. It is top 50 time. We're going from 50 to 2. No, just joking. It's Mike and the Minifans. Good evening, everyone. BA is pulled out. Something about he had to go to Narcotics Anonymous after watching John Rich on the show this week. I think it brought back some flashbacks to his past. So he's going for some last minute therapy. Also, the act's pulled out, so I am producing as well. We've got a huge night. We've got a great panel who I'm going to bring in. Fantastic Mike and the Minifans. Then after this, I'll be taking calls. I'll be doing a Mena's Live. I have the wildest story for Mena's Live. Some Minifans know about this, but it is one of the wildest Minifan stories in the history of the show. Of course, it involves sneakers. So that'll be on Mena's Live. So a lot to be excited about if you're a Minifan. Now let me bring in the panel. The first, well, fuck. Idiot's already disappeared. He's going to get another drink probably. Anyway, I'll bring someone else in. So this is a Minifan making his debut on Mike and the Minifans. He's a long-time Kirk Minahan fan. He's been following him since the EEI days. He alleges that he was in the bookstore when Kirk did his famous broadcast saying he wanted out of Entercom. Here he is, Steve from Gloucester. Steve,
hey
welcome
guys,
to
how
Mike
you
and the
doing?
Minifans.
Thanks for having me on, Manners.
Thanks for coming on. You were saying before we started that you've been following Kirk for a long time. Mutual friends with Bradfo. I'm a big Bradfo guy, so thrilled to have you on the show.
Thanks so much. I've been following you guys for a long time, and have listened to Kirk since he was on EEI. Mutual friends with Rob, and very excited to be on. Can't wait to discuss KMS with you.
Good. We've got a lot to talk about. And our next panelist, a man who was allegedly completely shit-faced at the live show in Socko. I have had a quick chat with him. I think he's relatively sober. I'm talking, of course, about Acronym Guy. Acronym Guy, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to see you.
Yep. How's the shame from embarrassing yourself at Socko going?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I'll wear it. I think it was a little bit overblown, but such is life on the KMS show.
Yeah. Oh, and Steve's gone already. Great. Oh, he's back. Fantastic. All right, and the other panelist is Dylan the Birdman, our one and only bird watcher. Dylan, welcome back.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Thanks for joining us. All right, so a lot to get through. Now, BA gave me his agenda, and out of respect to him as the host, we're sort of going to go through his agenda. I've got a few things I want to throw in there, but I guess let's start with the top 50 debacle of last Friday night. It was a complete shit show.
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Steve. You're very passionate about this. Who do you lay the blame with?
I lay the blame on the three people who were supposed to put this list together. I have listened since day one, and Kirk has given everybody the answers on the show, like between the people who he likes, his enemies. I mean, I was just doing a rough draft before the show. I came up with 40 people who he has said either should be on this list, his friends, the Barstool guys. And I was literally saying to myself, they really only needed to come up with 10. Whoever they wanted, and that would probably appease Kirk. And from what I could tell, listening to you, Menners, and all the stuff that you put online, it just looked like nothing happened. Like they didn't access the Google Docs. They didn't try. And it took me 5 minutes to come up with 40 names. It's like all they really needed to do was 10, 15 minutes max a day, and they would have been fine.
Yeah, what about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of it, I think Gus is primary to blame. I mean, they all share responsibility, but now he represents the show, and this is a week after Sacco, so they knew it was coming. Knew he was obviously employed, so at least with the coordination of it all, trying to get everybody on the same page for the sake of both this show, or their show, and then the actual show. I got to put more of it on Gus.
Yeah, definitely. I will say though that they were all, in my opinion, equally to blame. That Tim was probably the least interested from the beginning.
Right.
And one of the issues we had is we were trying to come up with a criteria for the list. And my point was, you have to fucking agree on the criteria so you're all on the same page. And fucking Tim and Canton had his own fucking criteria, his own fucking metrics. Fucking Mayo had his own idea. If you were fucking influenced Kirk, you should be on this. It was a complete shit show. I mean, Birdman. I mean, as a Minifan, I thought it was an extremely disappointing night from three people, Gus, Mayo, and Tim, who just needed to do better.
Yeah, I totally got your frustration with it when I listened to it, and back to the original question, like with who's to blame. I mean, Gus just took on the new job, so it's probably quickly moved to the bottom of his priority list, and then Tim kind of showed disinterest from the beginning. Like his first list was just 49 Kirks and 1 Steve, like. So I kind of don't blame him there, but if anything, actually, a little more on Mayo. Mayo should have taken on the slack. He was the one guy that had the time and had the interest in it. He probably should have taken the reins and tried to be the guy that made this list, what it should be. But it sounds like none of them did. But
No.
I mean, I do think that Minifans need to play a part in the list and they need to be on the list, but maybe some of the Minifans on there were too high. Some shouldn't have been on there at all. There was a few obvious people forgotten.
Yeah, I've made a bunch of lists. I've made it 4 lists so far. I put them on Twitter, and as I'm going, each one's better than the last. But basically, my first one was it was all Minifans, and then kind of rethought it. And I was like, okay, this isn't what it's all about. And I'm getting closer, but
you had me at 11.
And I think the biggest thing that I found was there's a difference between fans and what.
Sorry, Steve. Steve. We've got a star. I mean, he was too good to turn up on time because he's probably just left the Jerry Callahan studios. Here he is, Michael.
No. Why would you cut Steve off like that, you cocksucker?
Because it's 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock, and you're here.
No, you're a moron. We spoke Wednesday night, or maybe Thursday your time. And I was like, yeah, I saw you have a zillion people on there. And I was like, I don't know what time I'm gonna be home. You go, don't worry about it. Join me for the calls after. And then you DM me tonight, and you're like, where are you? We had a conversation 48 hours ago.
Because you messaged me before that you were coming on. You said to me you were worried about Steve. I thought that meant you were coming on.
No, I mean, Steve is too nice for this world. I was worried about Steve for these animals eating him alive. That didn't mean I was coming on.
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here, Montante, because you're on the tour right now.
I wasn't going to be here, but then Menners.
Do you want to jump on Menners live? You want to jump on Menners live later?
This week you've been on Kirk with Shattuck, with Jerry. I thought maybe you were going with Tucker Carlson next. I mean,
yeah, that'd be cool.
I didn't know you had time for us.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, is this beneath you, or do you want to stay, Mike?
No, I told your producer Joe. I said I'll 100% be good for next week, but then you played a mind game, and I'm here. I'm here both weeks. You cock. That was what a move. We had a conversation. Anyway, acronym guy, good to see you with us. You were blacked out last time I saw you.
Wow.
Good to see you, Mike.
Acronym guy killed it at Sacco.
Oh my god,
it was awesome.
Anyway, Steve. So before Montante rudely interrupted you, what were you saying?
So basically, what I was saying was, there's one thing that Kirk always says is the show. It's about the show. It's about me. And I felt like that list wasn't about Kirk. It wasn't about the show. It was like, hey, I listened to the show. Can I go on the list? Like, I went to Sheldon's wedding. I'm going to be number 10. Like, that's not what that was about. It was about the show. and
Yeah. So
some of these people
Steve,
yeah.
Steve, the criteria I was pushing for was impact on the show, importance to the show, and then the length of time, right? So not impact on the Minifan community, not impact on or importance in the Minifan community, but on the actual show. And we never really got that settled down. So the plan is now I'm going to take it upon myself in early 20. I think the 2023 list is gone. I think it's just too much of a clusterfuck to try and save it now. So early 2024, we're talking sort of January, February, before the bracket season, we're going to do a proper top 50 countdown. I am going to hand pick a committee, and none of these Kirk shenanigans putting dysfunctional idiots together, and we'll get a proper top 50 list, a proper countdown, and we'll make it an annual event on the network. So, there's 4 years left of Kirk's contract. So, there'll be 4 more top 50 lists. So maybe Coleman or Gus isn't on the next one, but they get in the time after. Maybe
that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible
Which
idea.
One? Which one? What is?
Every year is too much, dude. Every 2 years.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, we'll figure. Yeah.
We're going to do it every year.
I
don't need your opinion on it.
Montana, where were you on the list? I saw like 5 lists. Where were you on the list? Were you talking?
We just move past the list. I want to move past the list.
33.
33.
Time out on the list. Time out on the list. It's been ruining my life for the last 6 weeks.
Ruined it so much. You want to do it every year. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, because it'll be on my terms this time, buddy. All right. Who's the biggest barstool guy here? I know Montante's not a big barstool guy.
No, not me.
Probably me.
Okay,
me.
Mike.
I'm wearing a barstool shirt. Whatever.
Well, I can't see.
Technically, I am too, but
yeah, I like it.
So am I. We're all wearing barstool shirts. Big fucking deal. Got a great. Can BA come back, please? Hello, BA. Anyway, Mike, tell me. All I've got here from BA on his notes is Kirky Barstool Week. So I don't know if there's a question there, but we saw Kirk go in for Survivor Barstool. I mean, Kirk is Mr. Barstool now.
Yeah, that's BA's brain. That's BA's way of saying that. Yeah, he's in there for Surviving Barstool. The Kirk Minahan show had a bunch of Barstool personalities. That's basic BA brain.
Yes,
nothing more, nothing less. Yeah.
Thanks for the translation. What do you think? What do you think, acronym guy?
So I think.
Do you need to go get a drink or something? Have we been going too long?
Okay. No, I think it's now with people that he actually trusts and has a vested relationship with, because I mean, you don't see him doing the fucking Vib show with the food and all that. Like, he's doing it with the same core group of people, good, bad, or different. It's Dan, it's Dave, it's Kevin, mix in Riggs and Jeff. I mean, those kind of people. There's not like this. If he was going on every fucking podcast and being there once a month, but I mean, 2 of the things they're doing, I mean, the biggest productions they've ever done. So I understand the comparison now, but I mean, he's not writing fucking blogs and doing guess that ass, like but I grew up with.
He's doing stuff to try to help the place make money, though. Now that Dave owns it, he's like, he's all in, because obviously Surviving Barstools, people are going to watch that. They're not going to watch like some, or read some random person's blog. So I think he's just getting more involved to help Dave out, which is a great idea on his part, I think. So,
and I think it benefits everybody because he's in a good mood when he's around those guys. Like, he likes Jeff D-Lo, he likes Rico, and I think that helps his mood when he focuses on his own show, because you can see the attitude now. He's a lot more happier. He doesn't go on those tirades anymore. So I think it's almost therapeutic for him to be around those guys for a week. And I think it's only going to help KMS going forward.
Yeah, they seem to absolutely want to get Kirk involved in all the major Barstool stuff now. And
how much of it do you think?
I'm not a big Barstool guy.
Fans, how much of it do you think has to do with them wanting him and the Minifans to be a part of stuff? I mean,
yeah, I mean, there's a market there. Kirk's got a following, and I'm sure the Barstool's trying to bring that in too. You know what I mean?
But he's also the perfect villain.
Did you guys notice that Easter egg he just dropped tonight, saying something about working with Jeff D-Lo? He had a tweet maybe half an hour before the show, that he had something where he dropped an Easter egg saying that there's going to be a big announcement coming up. Wasn't sure if any of you guys saw that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, apparently there's a collaboration between Lights, Camera, Barstool and KMS, but I don't think it's going to be much. It's probably like that bar, the bars they were eating. Maybe they're going to be sponsoring the show or something, or it could be the Star Wars thing. But on Barstool, a huge miss from Rico this week. He was terrible on the show. He was awful. He thinks the KMS is all about professional wrestling, and I don't think he knew much about the KMS world. Like, I don't think he listens to the show. I think he calls in. I think he watches a few clips online, and that's it.
No,
to take this one.
That's crazy. He doesn't know the history of it, and there's a shit ton of. We saw what's his name, Coleman, get caught up in not knowing the history fully this week as he retweeted Jerry's show. But he's been putting in a conscious effort to catch up on it. Rico listens live. He's listening live. I would say probably the last 8 months.
So I think he listens live when he can, though. I don't think he's always able to listen.
He works for Barstool. He's got time. He's listening live 95% of the time. Kirk's going live. So I think from the past year, just in that, looking at that little time frame, he's a top 5% Minifan. He consumes everything.
Yeah,
top 5%. Yeah. You just want to get in his good books.
He listens a lot.
He made amends this week with you, right?
Yeah, he's already in these good books.
Yeah.
Well, then it's obviously Mike's not going to say anything bad about here because he doesn't want to step on his toes. Acronym guy, what did you think of Rico this week?
I just come to expect. He's hot and cold. So some days, he's fine. You put 2 and 2 together. His contract is. I know he's got a 1 year for the rest of his life, but it's in November. I listen to the Pick Central or the Pick'em show, the college football show that they do. And you can just tell he's already on edge with everything still. So I think that has a lot to do with it because, he was a totally different guy when we talked to him a couple months ago when he was there for something.
Well, he was saying something about also going through rehab last year, or he was alluding to 3 months where he was on drugs or something.
When he was at the Cheeky Monkey, when he was at the Cheeky Monkey, I don't think he was on drugs, but fucking mental meds. You know what I mean? Xanax, that kind of shit. A lot of it. During Cheeky Monkey, the show at the House of Blues, that shit.
But I will say, though, he's really, really good on Healthy Debate. I think that's a real good show. I don't know if any of you guys listen to it, but I think that brings out the best of Rico is that show because he is able to kind of go back and forth and get in those little, one-on-ones with people. I think that's a good fit for him. And, every once in a while coming into KMS, but I think he found his road with Healthy Debate.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's going really well. Yeah. All right. Next question. So we had Tuesday's show or Monday's show with Rico that was, I would say, below average for a KMS show. It was certainly on the bottom rung of entertainment value. Kirk just seemed wiped out this week when he was on the show. And not surprising. He was doing all that Survivor stuff, but he seemed really tired. So I'm glad he's had a rest. And I think what they're doing is show Sunday night. I think they're due to do the next show, but it was a pretty strange week. What did you think, Monty?
Am I reading into it too much to think that as Surviving Barstool winds down and him not doing a show the last few days, that makes me think that he's still in it and he's just, and you know how competitive he is. If he's not doing a show the last 48 hours, that makes me think that he is trying to win this thing. I think if he got eliminated Monday night, I think that we have a show recently.
Yeah, I don't think he'd even do it if he wasn't in it. You know what I mean? He wouldn't go out of his way to spend a week in New York if he wasn't going to really try. So,
but didn't I hear that when you were eliminated, they put you up in a hotel in New York until it was over? So maybe he was eliminated on Wednesday because remember they did the show early.
You're making my point though because. What else is he gonna do? Because I think they have to be there for voting and shit. So if he wasn't there, he'd be scratching himself. He'd be so antsy with nothing else to do in New York City. He'd be that's the last place on earth he wants to be. So the fact he's not doing a show makes me think that he's mentally invested 100% in winning this game show.
And there wasn't a lot of tweeting
Oppenheimer.
And there wasn't a lot of tweeting from him at all too. So I think that might be a good point.
I think they were told not to tweet.
Yeah, I mean, you could tweet about nonsense though, and that has nothing to do with it. But
yeah. All right. Next thing. So John Rich, wild fucking week for him. I mean, I got to say that was fantastic when he just barged into the show, drunk and he said he wasn't on drugs or anything when he barged in, but then he admitted that he'd had a few high noons. So a few high noons is probably like 6 or 7,
right,
and just rambling on about shit, about jealous about Coleman. I mean, Dylan, I'll throw this to you, Birdman. That was wild. One of the great show moments, I reckon.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm guessing the video portion of it was better because I only heard the audio. But the more I listened to it, though, it kind of made me think, like, damn, I wish John had stuck in the producer race a little more because there's a gem there. I think,
Yeah.
Like he makes me laugh. He's such a goofy character, but yeah, no, it was too bad he couldn't have stuck around a little longer. I think it would have been really funny.
I mean, acronym guy. I mean, as someone who's done a lot of embarrassing things drunk recently, you must have had some sympathy for John Rich.
All it takes is one time for Kirk to yell at you, and it's over. I mean, I literally moved to the back of the fucking place at 8:15 because you fucking yelled at me. It was so. Anyway,
hey, not to rat out acronym guy. That is fake news. That is fake news.
Well, what's the true story, Montante?
You got one or two warnings from a distance, and then he comes and goes, "Why does the guy look familiar?" You go, "Oh, that's acronym guy." And then like 10 seconds later, you're like, I don't know what you said. You're like, "John Rich," or like scream or something. And then he actually went up to you, was like, "Can you please shut the fuck up?" And then after that, you dissipated.
Yes, I did. I definitely dissipate, but it wasn't. All right, whatever. Okay.
No,
it was okay. You're coming from a wedding. I get it.
Right. You look good.
I get it. We've all been there.
It was, but I exited stage right on purpose. I got the message. I was like, okay, got it. It
was like baseball.
Once Montante was the sober one.
Oh, it was terrible. Oh, I really do have an addiction to alcohol because I was just standing there like, man, I could really use a couple.
That was the biggest thing, Mike. I could tell you were like dying for one because you were so nervous too. But
it was two things. The big thing was people like, yeah, you're how nervous? He was like, I'm pretty nervous, but I'm like, I'm fiending for booze right now. Like, I'm like, I might be. Like,
I think you would have been like,
strange. It got fucking. I know acronym guy was either blacked out by then or just warmed up by the booze. It got very cold by like halfway through that show.
Yeah, it was cold, but I could tell you just weren't yourself, and I felt bad. I'm like, oh, someone get this guy a beer. But
yes,
I could understand.
You should have gone full alcoholic and just done a couple of vodka shots secretly.
Yeah, it wouldn't have changed anything. I
drank enough for Montante.
Hindsight's 2020.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Anyway, they're back to John Rich. I mean, I thought that was a lot of comedic value. I'd like to keep him involved with the show because he's bizarre. He's like when you dig in there, there's some weird shit going on.
So, do any of you guys like find a resemblance to Cullinane with him? Like even when he talks, I was hearing it like the other day, wicked bad when he was on the show.
His cadence, maybe, but
the cadence.
Yeah, his cadence and his voice a little bit, but like, and his just bizarreness a little bit,
Not really.
No,
I semi see what he's saying. Yeah, I see a little bit.
But then, so he, he pisses and moans about not being a chance at the producer, and then the next day gets a chance to produce the show, and I re-listened to it this morning. Kirk has never sounded as bad on anything I've ever heard. Anytime,
maybe when he's in South Carolina.
I don't reckon. I reckon this was worse. I reckon this was worse.
It was bad,
and so it's fucking god awful. And then, like 25 minutes in, someone goes to John. Oh, it doesn't sound very good. He just goes, "Sounds fine to me." I'm like, "What are you fucking listening to?"
Granted, it always sounds bad in New York, though.
Yeah, but never that bad.
Not
one of the
bad,
microphones was actually broken.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Kirk dodged a bullet there. Good week for Jeff Lowe. I thought did great producing. Saved the day on Wednesday with the new mic. I'll start with you, Stevie. Are you a Jeff D. Lowe fan? And he seems like a massive Minifan.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good guy. I think he means well. And anybody who is really invested in the show and like you guys have talked about, knows the background of the show, I think it shows how honest and sincere he is. And I think sometimes, like you had mentioned previously, maybe some of the other people don't come off as sincere because I don't think they listen to it all the time. But you could tell Jeff is really listening. He's engaged. He knows what goes on, and I like him. I think he's a good fit to what Kirk may have going forward.
Mike?
I just think he's not a bust balls type of guy. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Acronym. Is your name Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off like 20 minutes ago.
No.
I thought he was talking to me.
No,
Go ahead, you go.
Sorry,
Wow.
sorry, Montante. Yeah, my mistake.
No, I
That's right, we
just
get
think
here
he's not a
late.
bust balls guy. He's just I think he likes the show. I don't discount his friendship with Kirk. I just think I don't think he has any time for like the banter. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that's his style. And I don't think, I think they have a relationship and that's where it is. And he provides, some good topics for Kirk. They get along on movies and shit like that. So I just think he's not a Minifan. He's a fan of the show. He's not a Minifan.
I think he's becoming one, but he fucking hates Mayo now. Like that was some
He does.
genuine fucking shit.
Which I think makes him a Minifan.
Yeah.
Yes, actually,
To be that intimate with somebody who listens to the same show you listen to and actually care and be like bothered by it, that he's one live show away from being a solidified Minifan. I bet you he goes to the next one.
I mean, who knew his two biggest like nemesis were going to be Andy Mayo and Iowa Minifan?
I'll tell you what, Iowa Minifan can be a cocksucker online.
Oh yeah. He's funny though.
Yeah, he's. I think he's usually okay, but I've seen him before. Who else? David from Maryland will get in the mud too.
Yeah.
Dave's been slinging some stuff recently.
Yeah, big time. I met him.
but Jeff I am, but Jeff had some real hate towards Andy Mayo, and then it was wild. So
Fucking Dunkin' Donuts.
big mistake by Coleman, and this is no offense to you, Montante, but retweeting the Jerry Callahan show that had the tweet about Montante hosting was a massive mistake. I mean, I'll start with you, Dillbag. The fact that Kirk, really hates Jerry now, and I don't think Kirk is going to hold anything against Montante for doing it because that's totally fine for Montante to host it. But to see his show account retweet the Jerry Callahan show, I mean, that's an all-time fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad look.
But do we know where did it come from, Menners? Was it his actual tweet or did it come from the Kirk Minahan show?
It came from the show account.
It came from Jerry Callahan show, and Coleman retweeted it.
So was it
on Kirk's show?
Oh, he retweeted it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
on the KMS account. So when I saw that, tweet, I thought, I was like, well played by either Coleman or Gus. I thought that was like an alley-oop to Kirk to come in and murder me and Jerry. But he just got mad at whoever posted it. So I was like, okay,
he should though.
Kind of dodged the bullet there.
Yeah.
So
that's not on you. That's not on you.
No, but no, going on, like I jokingly said I should call, let me substitute host this. I knew there was like a 5% chance that Kirk could look at that and be like, all right, well, fuck this guy. So I was like a little on edge doing that. So when I saw a tweet go out, I was like, uh-oh. But
you've been doing that like for a while though. It's not like you lost the producer job and just went to Jerry, I think it would be.
But Coleman, what I like about Coleman is he immediately falls on the sword. Which I think
and he doesn't do the woe is, he doesn't do the woe is me thing either. He doesn't.
No.
He just.
And I think if he fucks up once, I don't think he'll make that same fuck up again. So he's learning. I like Coleman. He seems to be a good egg so far.
Yeah,
go on, Steve.
Dave and Steve have, they fucked up a lot too. I mean, right off the bat. So I think they're getting into that point where they're starting to learn, and it can only help Coleman. And he's not the foolish Augustus stuff where like, oh, I'm just gonna go bowling or I'm gonna go mess up my bedroom. It's like, and we're all gonna laugh about it. I think Coleman's gonna learn and really grow in the position.
Yeah, I think Coleman's the reason why there's like two producers now. I think Kirk liked him, but also knows like he's young, he's good kid, innocent. I don't know if he can take the shellacking like he gave Dave and Steve, and so why not bring Gus in there and so he can take the flack, what I mean?
I have a feeling Kirk is going to come into this week a little bit hot, and I think he's going to put the blowtorch on Augustus and Coleman. I think, you know, we had the post soccer week where it was a little bit of the honeymoon period. Everyone was happy. Gus was running around in his frilly dress. Coleman was just, you know, bumping into walls and stuff. But I reckon this week Kirk is going to come in charged up. I wonder how Kirk is going to view the content that happened when he was away. I mean, you know, I'll go around the room, starting with acronym guy. Did Coleman and Gus do enough, do you think, while Kirk was absent?
No, well, not visually at this point, right? So nothing on the social media side. You know, minus a couple IG clips that, you know, I did finally get a pop up, you know, for on IG, but you know, I think Coleman is very serious about like fixing the studio, like getting it to the way he wants it, and obviously, kind of Kirk told him, hey, you got a little bit of time to get your affairs in order, right? Moving up from New Jersey, so you know, but that's also where, in my opinion, Augustus should have stepped up and said, hey, I'll do the tweeting, I got it, you know, give me 48, 72 hours. But as a whole, no, I don't think they did enough that we see right now. And maybe he comes in and maybe things are shit hot, you know. I don't know, but he's definitely going to come in with a blowtorch, probably to me, most likely.
It's a good quick answer.
What did I see, Steve? What did I say? I said Montante talks more than anybody else.
Guy fucking rambled on the Jerry Callahan show for 45 minutes.
You think he would have laryngitis after this week? I mean, he was on with everybody.
Exactly. So, Steve, what do you think? I think Kirk's going to hold their feet to the fire.
Oh, I mean, you know, Menners, and I'm sure Montante, you get it too. When he wants to crucify someone, he's going to do it. And I think the biggest thing would be what is going to be the reaction. Like, because I think Coleman will take that to heart and will make the adjustments. And I think Gus is going to give you the Cullinane excuse tour. Like, oh, I did this, or I didn't do that, or it's going to get better. And you're like, well, is it going to get better? Or are things going to stay the same? And I think Coleman's more in that Steve area where, like, he will fix it and he will make it better. It may not happen overnight, but it will. And I think, you know, he's more aligned to Steve in my eyes, where I feel Gus is more in that Coleman bullshitter type. Like, is he really going to do it or is he not? And that's how I feel about Coleman. And I think he'll fix it. And Gus, I don't know. I'm not sold on him.
We'll get there. Dylan?
Well, Kirk brought up while he was in New York how much he hated that tweet the show account did with the poll about which episode was best, and it was just like Monday, Remarkable. Tuesday, Wednesday, and it was like I even looked at that poll and I like thought about voting on it. And I'm like, what the fuck?
That is terrible.
Yeah, I'm like, what day is what? I'm like, I don't know. They're all good. So, but yeah, I think it's coming soon. I think there's going to be some hell to pay, whether it's, you know, wherever it comes from. But I think, you know, these guys are going to have to get humbled soon.
Yeah. I think the no context is good though. I think that's quite funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw KMS quotes shitting on that bit. That's a great that tweet should come out after every show. That is a very funny topical tweet. That's very good. It's a really tough balance, especially when you're not like in studio with Kirk, to like put up tweets that are relevant to the show but not terrible. I don't know, that's a really tough, you know, tightrope to walk. I think tonight's sneaky stunk, but like I said, it's tough. Like the Taylor Swift, the Swifties in the movie theater, that was a pretty horrendous tweet, for being honest. But
Yeah,
that
I
being
saw
said,
that.
it's a weird. It's that shit is really tough, and we're kind of hyper focused on this right now because for years, like KMS of 3 months ago, they don't post for 4 or 5 days. No one notices, including Kirk. So.
Right.
I think once the smoke settles, you can go back to kind of relaxing and, you know, putting up and not forcing it, but still promoting the show at the same time. Right now, we're in a weird spot.
Right. Let me ask you guys a question, Menners and Montante, because you guys, in a way, have sometimes gotten his wrath, be it commentary on his show or
I don't know what
whatever.
you're talking about.
How do you guys handle it though when he like Montante? You've been in the studio with him and he's really upset. Do you take it serious? Do you like get scared of him? Like, because he does come off as a prick. Like, how do you guys handle it when he's really enraged?
I've never gotten it that bad in studio.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think he's ever been.
Yeah, he just calls me dumb and shit. And it's like, yeah, I finished dead last in my clay. He's not. I've never gotten it too bad in studio. And Menners has only gotten it, 1,000 miles away. But nobody's doing it. You know that if you know the show, you know that's what that's always a possibility. So you can't let it rattle you. Oh, that being said, if you want full blown on me in person, I'd probably be fucking shitting myself. But that's that has not happened yet. Thank God.
I've only been on the end of a couple real genuine ones where I think he legitimately is pissed off with me. Like I think the show ones he's pissed off with me, but yeah, I've been on the end of a couple where he's genuinely wanted to rip my head off, and it's been lucky I've been in Australia. Yeah, but yeah, Steve, I don't take it personally. You just fucking let it go. Manners look stoned from McFuss Daddy. That is not true. Montante, I appreciate it. So I got up at 5 a.m. to watch England and Australia playing soccer.
1-0.
1-0. We were unlucky.
73rd minute for Ollie Watkins.
That's it. All right. Now, just this just sums up Dave Cullinane in this whole fucking era at KMS can be summed up in him submitting a $3,000 phone bill when he gets fired, effectively got fired. And the reason he submitted the phone bill probably was he was pissed off and he thought, I'm not paying for this. But I mean, Birdman, that was wild. To put together 2 years of expenses.
2 years. 2 years. Like, does Barstool not have like a credit card they can use?
No, this is the most. This is the most. No. This is the most relatable thing Colleen's ever done. You don't want to bother your boss. It's not a fund that's going to break your bank. But eventually, when push comes to, I bet you Colleen probably flipped the coin to say, "Do I just eat this $2,800, or do I ask Barstool for it?" Like, because I remember when the first time I went in there, I was like, "Damn, these calls are kind of expensive." He was like, "Yeah, I just pay for it too." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, it just keeps re-upping." I was like, "Oh, does Barstool get you back?" He's like, "I don't bother to ask." So like, I get that though. Like, imagine he was every week he was invoicing them like $52.10.
That's what I mean.
You can do it every quarter though. Like, you don't have to
just let it pile up, and then eventually ask for it. Don't.
Why doesn't he have a company credit card?
I mean, $3,000. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
let it pile up for 2 years. We're not talking
those calls, dude. I was in there. I think we took calls for 50 minutes. It was like around $54. It's expensive.
Yeah, but to me, it just shows how fucking lazy he was and how he didn't give a shit and how he just clock out.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just this lack of attention to detail, because if you're Barstool, like, it would have been better. They should have just been paying this stuff as it went, not he's all of a sudden.
That's not how Barstool. That's not on Cullinane.
Yeah, but I agree with Birdman. Like, why didn't he have a credit card, or why wasn't there something given to him to say, "Hey, you go through this route to submit it and do it once a week"?
Or maybe he's bitter and he wasn't going to care until then he got fired. Now he's like, "Oh, all right, well, pay me now."
So anyway,
it's like a free commission check.
And it's kind of sad watching him do play the hits now, because I sort of felt before he was producer of KMS, there was all that hope there that, we all had such high expectations for Cullinane, and we thought playing the hits was kind of a stepping stone to greatness. But now we've seen that he can't go any higher than play the hits. So for me, it's kind of sad. I mean, are there any play the hits fans here?
I've never watched it.
Same, never.
Yeah.
Is it just great?
Well, I don't even know where you consume it.
It's on some app,
Mixcloud, whatever.
And he just plays music and talks. It's just for.
From the clips I see, the music he plays is shit, so I don't think I can watch it.
I mean, honestly, if there was a top 50 for Minifans, it'd come from there. It's all just a circle jerk, they're all in the chat. All right, acronym guy. I'm going to go around the room with this one, so you got time. Which two producers would you have picked, and what do you think of the decision by Kirk?
I just would have picked Montante. I'm a day one Montante guy for the start. I think he would have made it comical, and I think Mike knows as well. If he didn't like the technical output, he would have fired him within 3 months, and we're back to square one. I mean, in reality, that's my only stance on it.
Okay, so Montante day one, and what do you think about the decision of Coleman and Gus combo?
Me?
I mean, do you remember that's what? So that's what happened at Soccer. So I don't know if you probably don't remember. Kirk announced two producers.
That's good. That's good, Menard. No, I mean, I think Coleman will do fine. I think the Gus stick will he will be the first sacrificial lamb. He will fuck something up, like the contacting Milton's for pre being hired. Not a great look. You know how touchy Kirk is with those kind of subjects. I think he'll be the lamb to the slaughter, and then who knows? Maybe Will is in there as a second guy for maybe a couple more tries. I don't know, but I think Augustus will be the first.
And how long do you give him?
That ain't happening.
Acronym. How long do you give him? Sorry, Montante wants to host this show.
I give Gus like Christmas, maybe.
Okay.
First of the
Stevie
year.
boy, who would you have picked?
Well,
To, and then what do you think of Kirk's decision?
my number one guy when I first heard him was John Rich.
Wow,
And
interesting.
once he dropped out remotely, obviously, I had envisioned something where it was Montante and John Rich. John Rich doing more of the remote stuff and Montante being the in-house guy. And, once John dropped, I thought it was going to be Montante 100%, and to get what we had now, it's just, I love Coleman, but the Gus thing, it's like low level, like it's like Cullinane on his worst day. Like he brings nothing to the table. Like there's just nothing there, and the act has already grown old. Like, okay, you wore a dress bowling, wonderful. Like what's next? Like it's just so dumb. Like,
but I think Gus actually does have some like skills as a producer. Like he's got the act, but he can actually also like
yeah,
do
he
things,
can.
like
I'll give
make
him
video
that,
and
but
audio, and he can produce. Like if Coleman wasn't there, the show would go up. Like I know.
So why was the top 50 list that bad then? Because he could have stepped in for you. I mean, honestly, if he's that well, how come it like
I
fell off
agree.
the rails?
I agree. It's a huge knock on him. I mean, I do think though there is an element.
But his job he got his job on a gimmick. Like, okay, I'm going to get on my knees and go to the Burlington Mall. If Montante, if you did something like that, I'm going to get on my knees and walk on the George Washington Bridge or whatever, he would have gave you the job. I mean, it's all a gimmick.
And Montante, I asked Bug-Eyed Mick this earlier in the week. I mean, do you regret not taking a dog collar to soccer?
No, I wouldn't. Listen, I don't have much pride, but I would not do that.
Okay.
I'm a 31-year-old man. I'm not doing that.
Okay. If you had a time machine and you knew that, would you redo it? Take a dog collar?
No. If I had a time machine, I would do a couple things differently, but I'm not crawling through the mall or taking a dog collar.
I mean, Stevie, this is echoes of Chris Curtis. I mean, for the Mincels out there, there was a stage there where Chris Curtis was, like Gus, where Kirk could do anything, put him in a dog collar, fucking whip him, you name it, and Curtis would just take it. And I think Gus
is kind of what he
has
has right now with, Gus playing the Chris Curtis role and Coleman playing the Ken Laird role. So you had the serious guy and you had the buffoon. And that's what I feel like they have going. And I just don't think you needed both. I think he could have done this a lot better. And hopefully it works out. I mean, I know some people had their reservations when Steve was there and then Cullinane. You like him, you hate him. You like him, you hate him. Right now their stock is low, but who knows? Maybe in a few weeks they'll be great.
I think Coleman is getting good with the drops. I think he's actually starting to do well with that, so that could be funny. Birdman, who would you have picked, and what do you think of Kirk's decisions?
So my choices were Montante or John Scranton. I think Montante is really fun on the show, and the only thing I was like apprehensive about is like if he gets the job. Now that he's working there, will he be not as entertaining? So that like kind of worried me about Montante, but I think John's really good. He's obviously got the technical skills and stuff, and he's entertaining. He's been around forever. But I think now, individually, I don't think Coleman or Gus alone would have worked. I think the fact that they're both together makes it work, but Coleman is a great guy. I think he's just too young and innocent to handle it alone. And then Gus is just too much of a wild card to be the sole guy. So I think if it was Montante or John, it would have been a one producer thing. But if it was, in this case, I think it had to be 2 with those 2.
Now, do we all?
Yeah, right.
None of us thought Mick had a shot. Like I never thought that.
No, I
from
didn't think
day
so
one.
either.
Steve, I'm glad you said that. I thought when it was those 2 up there, I thought Mick was going to get it. And then on top of that, after seeing the first week or so with the new duo, I think Mick would be better in the second chair role than Augustus.
Yeah, I think
Now,
Gus
yes,
is pretty
yeah.
interchangeable.
Interesting.
But I think when you had him on stage, I think it was kind of like taking a shot at him because I really, once they had them both up there, there was nothing like in my mind saying, "Oh, Mick got it." Like I just never thought it.
When Augustus ran up there and grabbed Cullinane's face, I thought he was out of contention for literally everything. I said that was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was literally the most out of touch, the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. So when I saw there was those 2 up there, I was like, "Oh, congratulations to Mick!" And then he picked Augustus. I was like, "Damn, he really must have made up his mind." Literally driving up there and nothing changed because that was
but I guess that's the
insane
problem. Because Mike, I don't think he wanted to work with Mick at all, and he had already made his choice on Coleman. He knew that you were stuck. Because you had to talk to your girl and do all that. And I think he's almost like, what do I do? Do I go with Gus or do I go with Mick? And I think even that, I mean, he was kind of set, like, I'm going with Gus no matter what.
Yeah.
Montante, when are you going to sort of come out of your deep depression and
this
serious
Montante? This shit is so played out. You want to keep going with this bit? Serious Montante. Yeah, what the fuck does that mean? I was upset I didn't get the job. Serious Montante. There's no such thing. Enough.
Your solo Montante's world was pretty solemn though.
That was good, yeah.
But are you feeling better now?
Yeah, I'm fine. Like I said, I wanted the job, didn't get it. Life moves on. I want to be in the next week if they'll have me. It is what it is. I've been losing my whole fucking life.
Excellent.
Matters. Yeah, great.
All right. Any topics you guys want to bring up before we start to wrap up this Mike and the Minifans? Any burning show issues you want to get off your chest? Anything you're pissed off about? Anything?
I don't want to put this on a tee for you, Manners, and I know Montante is going to say, "Oh, here we go again." I still am, and I know why my guy Danny in Bellrica says it. I still am perplexed on the whole Julie crossing the I's, dotted the T thing. Now, I will say, admittedly, prior to my shenanigans at the live show, I sent a very professional email with like a full resume of like, what I do, what I can do. And it's not even like discussed. Like there's just no discussion of it. And I know that the producer search took over, but it sounded like Julie didn't do a lot. And I really like Julie on the show, but I don't know what I know you don't, man, but I'm saying that role that was discussed, either he's going to buy into Barcelona now as long as Live Events isn't involved, Live Events Lisa, or I don't know. It's perplexing to me that it's like it's just not even a discussion point at all, and it's a double standard, and rightfully so. I get it. He treats her differently. I will take the heat for that, but I have no idea why it's not a topic on the show, or at least, hey, we're putting this on pause.
Well, it might be, but I thought Julie was hustling in Saco. Like she was stressed like the whole time. But
I'm not saying she wasn't stressed. I just don't know.
Yeah.
They made it.
Where was she with the sanitizer when that fucking cock needed it? She was nowhere. She was in a car fucking getting, rim jobs off people or something. I mean, it's disgusting.
See, I was trying to be like, yeah, I put that on.
I get what you're saying though.
Menners, unrelated. I just got a text from a Minifan. He said, "Tell Menners to, retire the Montante's the press stick and learn what month it is." What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. Was that Dava? Was that your bum chum Dava who's still fucking?
It says Mike and the Minifans 13th September, and the fact that he put 13th there means it's from Australia, which means you got the month wrong. Stupid. It's October.
Oh, that's true.
It is very true.
I didn't realize. Oh yeah, Shark Minahan microphone says 13th September. I will change it in post. But back on Julie though, do they need that now that they've got 2 producers? Because Cullen, they needed that, but now surely Coleman, Augustus, and the weight of Barstool can do all this. And I think if we saw anything, like having them involved with the pay-per-view was a net positive. So I think Julie's got to go. I mean, Steve, big call. Would you fire Julie?
I would. I don't know enough about her yet to I enjoy her on the show. But I just want to see more of her work going forward. And I think like the next live show where it doesn't have that supreme Barstool influence, where it's not a pay-per-view, that's what I want to see what she can do. Like, are we going to get the little tiny screen that Cullinane had, or are we going to have a good production? So I think I want to hold my judgment on her until the next show. But I do agree with Acronym Guy that if he had a resume, why not discuss it? Because Kirk always says we discuss things on the show. Like, why didn't he do that?
Well, and Cullinane said he has dozens of them, and I'm not singling myself out. And I know what Daver's, bringing him in studio is, the other two females were, bringing down the show a little bit. I get that point. I'm just saying a discussion about any of it. I don't care who it is. It just seems like it's just persona non grata for anything that comes to that I's and T's. Individual.
Yeah. The bitch is getting a free ride. You said it, Mike. All right. Any other topics that you guys want to bring up? I'll give you a moment to think. I just want to let everybody know, the network is thriving. I think the Minifans have got to rally around the KMN and support the shows. Montante's shaking his head. Fucking idiot. Hates the network.
Well, last week, weren't you ready to get handed over and quit and look for sympathy? Pussy.
I wasn't ready to hand it over. Never.
Should I continue doing the network? You fucking pussy.
That was a few weeks ago. That was probably the 13th of September. And that was actually just gauging whether the Minifans want the network, and clearly most of them don't.
You were like a fake suicidal teenager looking for attention.
I wasn't like a fake suicidal teenager. Okay. I was just pissed off, and I wanted to see what the reaction would be, and I got the answer I didn't want. But look, everybody out there, support the network. There is some great shows. Quantum Kirk is now Monday night at 8 p.m. when there's new episodes. So Montante knows Daver is a show destroyer. So there'll be weeks when there's no shows. But Monday night, 8 p.m. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. when there's new episodes, it'll be Mount Rushmore of KMS. Last week was Ron and McFuss Daddy with KMS. What Kirk triggers. That was the topic. So things that trigger Kirk. And for Minifans, they are a fun watch. I mean, is Ron a fucking idiot? Yes. But is he our fucking idiot? Yes. No, so you got to support. Is McFuss Daddy, a bit of an annoying prick from the south? Yes, but I enjoy their show, so you got to support them. We've also, got, if you're into NFL, there's the Big Dog Show, there's the Robbie V Show, which is what it is. I mean, I put it out on the audio feed as well, so some of these shows you can listen to while you're doing the dishes or whatever. So there's lots of great stuff on the network.
That was the only example you had was dishes.
Well, hanging up the washing, mowing the lawn,
hanging up the washing. Maybe you should have stopped the dishes.
Okay, sorry, Mike. Okay, you can listen to them while
hanging up the washing.
While you're putting on your bets. You can listen, right? While you're
that makes more sense through the form washing. Carry on.
Let's not talk about gambling because Mike gave me a bad one this week, and he's banned until Sunday. I don't.
Cowboys didn't cover.
So support the network. I also think I think the main show should be talking a bit more about what's on the network. Not much more, but I do think some of the stuff that comes up on Quantum Kirk and even Mount Rushmore is kind of interesting for Minifans. So, hoping to get more of that going on. But, what I need is the Minifans. Make sure you're supporting the network. Watch the shows. I know there's a lot there, but, if you're really into KMS stuff, Quantum Kirk, Mount Rushmore's, Mike and the Minifans, it's great stuff. I mean, tomorrow night we've got the 420 show. So if you're into dope, go and watch it. I mean, I would suggest having a lot of dope before watching it to get in the right mindset. But hey, I mean, I'm a weed guy, so no judgment. Anything you guys want to say before we wrap this up?
I think
all right. Well, great. Well, Acronym Guy, thanks for coming on. Thanks for staying relatively sober for this one. Steve, great first appearance on the network.
Great meeting you guys. Really
say hello to Bradfo for me. Big fan from down under. The Birdman, great stuff. I'll send you more photos of kookaburras and stuff.
Anytime, man.
And Montante, what's happening for you? What's next? You in studio next week?
I'm gonna be in Massachusetts from Wednesday to Friday, so I'd like to be in there Thursday or Friday if they'd have me.
All right, Serious Montante's back. Great stuff.
I mean, so okay, no. Let's get to this. So what is the right way to answer that question, Manners? You fucking cocksucker. What is the right way to answer that question?
So we got Manners live in about 5 minutes, and we'll
That's
be
what I
taking
thought.
your calls. And I'm going to go through the wildest Minifan story I think in show history. So
that broke 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay, well, most Minifans don't know about it. You fucking loser. Right, I bet all three of them don't know what I'm talking about here. So just tune in to Manners Live. Fucking loser, just couldn't you? Anyway, that's it for Mike and the Minifan.
Another tough day at work today. Stephen Kirk, think I suck. Throw back a few wobbly pops, feeling down on my luck. And the interns ruin every show.